Let's have a little look on the bench then, you love knuckles. Battery exhausted, she says. I'm fucking exhausted. I've been saving this guitar because, oh, it's an Epiphone, and everyone's like, get an Epiphone on the bench. They're like fucking ants. They're everywhere, aren't they? Everyone's got one of these. Everyone's had one. And this one is known for being a proper cheapie. Well, I've had a little preliminary look. This is a pre-loved one. Picked up from a teenager, local to me. No rude references required. Your own brains will do that.
Oh my God!
It's got a few dings and dents, nothing major. I think we can all agree the colour is fucking disgusting. But that's, by the by, let's move past that. Let's not be too judgmental. This video has got a bit of a different twist because normally I'll take these apart, we look at them, the frets are shit, I'll do a fret job, I'll make it sound like Pink Floyd as best I can because that's the only guitar style I can play in. And we're done, and we've had a little look. It's not about gaining knowledge, people. There are other people out there with more knowledge than me, and they will take you through a guitar, all the ins and outs. I'm not interested. We're just having a little laugh on a Monday morning. If we find one bit of information that's interesting, then we found it, haven't we? If we don't, then fuck it, who cares? We've just wasted 20 minutes of your life sat on the shitter at work because you can't be bothered to do what you're supposed to be doing.
People are flushing toilets 10 times.
One thing I've noticed, quick overview, I won't, banter starts at 0 by the way, I need a sign saying that, so if someone puts in the comments, oh, video actually starts at 3 minutes, you can fuck right off. People want to send you shit when you start doing YouTube, when you start getting a bit of traction and some decent numbers, which I am now, thanks for watching, people want to send you shit. Some of it's comical, some of it not so interested. I've been sent some tools, and I'm going to try them out on this guitar. I'm doing it on this guitar specifically because it meets the criteria. Stay with me. So I've had sent an email from a company called Fretilizer. You might have seen them online. They do like a polishing and spot leveling system, which is, you know, not normally the route I go down because I'm a guitar builder and then you just do a fret job when the guitar's new. You're never going to press all your frets into a fretboard and not have to touch them because, as you know, people that are buying £2,000 Gibsons and Fenders, they still need fret jobs, don't they? If you really want that super low action, you have to have perfectly level frets. That is the criteria, and no guitar under 1,500 quid has got perfectly level frets.
Boy, here we go.
I could be wrong in a few cases, but you know, ask my wife. I'm fucking wrong all the time. The StewMac Fret Kisser is getting on for 100 quid. Lovely tool, would last forever, and luthiers, we buy them because StewMac tools are just fucking gorgeous, aren't they? Oh. But let's not digress too much. There are cheaper options out there, and I got sent a little system, and it's pretty cool. You can buy their whole system for less than a StewMac Fret Kisser. First thing you're going to notice is the first thing I noticed, which is why this is funny and why it grabbed my attention. Fretilizer, they've taken out the vowels and they've made the name super cool. But when I first read it, of course, I read Fritzl. They must have known, because obviously I do all my demos in Fritzl's basement. I've had a preliminary look at the Epiphone. In general, it's pretty good. For a bedroom tarnish guitar, this one has come to me in pretty good shape. So we're going to fix this guitar and we're going to polish it up using the Fretilizer system, which I'll take you through, and I'll discover it at the same time as you. If it's shit, and they're going to hate me. But if it's good, and it's a good recommend, we've all learnt together. There are lots of tools out. Tools are cool. They are cool. Some are better than others. Some are 5 times the price of others. There's a lot of tools on AliExpress that I wouldn't use to unblock a toilet. Absolute crap. Don't buy any of that stuff. First things first, she plays, all right, it's not in tune, but there are a few high frets. So my 13th fret is high. Fretilizer didn't send me a rocker. I'm gonna have to use the StewMac one. That's ruined, isn't it? The action's not very low on this guitar, I'll show you now. But on the 13th fret, you can hear the rocker. And we can hear that with the strings. So just so you know, the nut on this guitar, the nut, believe it or not, is cut perfectly. That's lovely. 0.5. That's exactly what I set them up to. 0.6 to 0.4, low to high, low to high. A bit came out. The action on the 12th, which is more important, 2.1 on the low E, which is a bit high. People's perceptions of action height are quite often wrong. And on the high E, we've got 1.5, which isn't bad. 1.75 on the low E, 1.3 on the high E, you'll find most of the time that's a great setup, and it's a low action. Fertilizer's also sent this card, and it's quite cool because quite often these ones are not so easy to read for me. That's a bit more clear. So the main two products are this. This is their version of the fret kisser. It's the same shape as a rocker, but hopefully you can see this. There is an indent there, and that indent is to take some strips of sandpaper, and they actually supply all of that. And then we're just going to take the sandpaper, and over that little indent, we're going to fold that over nicely, going to pull that really tight, and that's created a fret kisser, and that should be pretty much level. Now we can use that. You don't even have to take the strings off if you don't want to for this part. So we're going to put that on there. And that has, I'm a little bit surprised. That worked really well. I honestly didn't know what to expect there. You can just see a little flat bit on the top of the fret. God, this is going to be a boring one to edit, isn't it? It's almost like a serious video, sorry. People might actually learn something. That worked really nicely. I'm surprised. Now, I'm going to take the strings off and we're going to have a proper look at this fretboard. Now, Fertilizer do have a YouTube channel where there's a few videos on there that are pretty clear and they'll show you how to do it properly. Not just some old albino going through how to use it on his guitar. Believe it or not, there are people online that will actually learn you things. So this guitar does need the Minge Fudge. It is a poplar body, mahogany neck, rosewood fretboard. I've actually done some homework. There you go. There's a fact for you about this guitar. Wraparound bridge, single coil, harking back to the 1960s Melody Maker. It's like I'm repeating the shit I've just read from the PMT website. It's got a switch that does things. All the electrics are in there. I'm not going to take all that off. Who gives a flying fuck? I don't care if the pots are small. I don't care if the pots are big. Size isn't everything. Someone's already chewed that up with the next door neighbour's car or done something. I don't know what they've used to tighten that down. I've taken the strings off. You need to check your neck again. You need a not straight edge. You need a good one. If you buy a cheap one, you can use your levelling beam to flatten it off, to give it a bit of love. You might need some coarser sandpaper on there. And it is the same with fret rockers. That is a Homeland fret rocker, another fantastic name. These are very often, they're just stamped out of shit somewhere around the world, but you can use your levelling beam and you can flatten these off and make it a much more usable tool. Oh, it's another actual useful tip. Normally I'll get complaints when I only use the tip. Moving on. Right, check your neck again, make sure he's straight. As expected, we've got a back bow because the tension from the strings is gone. So just use your truss rod, and when you're looking from the neck down, you want to go anti-clockwise. Can you see any light under there? No, that looks lovely. Right, so my neck's good. It's a bendy neck, so it's supported, it's laying flat. If you fucking lean on it, it's not going to be level. So you just, use your brain a little bit. My dad used to say that. Use the brain, Ficky. I edited out a C-bomb then, and I'm not sure if you can use that word on YouTube. So I'm going to check again with my fret rocker. I've got a tiny rock there. So that's on the 6th fret. We'll go on the wide setting, on the Billy Big Balls. Let's just got rid of that. It works. I'm as surprised as you are. That is cool. I'm learning today. Where have I fucking been? Dark ages. By the way, I've looked at the frets. They're all seated pretty nicely. That 7th fret, I can get the feeler under there, clear as day. See that? So we can have a little tap down. So I'm going to move my neck support under the 7th. Give him a bit of love. And that one is gone. Nice. Nice. So I'm going to carry on all the way up the board. Bit of a rock on 9. Very gentle with that one. We're just thumbing it in. Nice rock on here. Still got a rock on that one. So, 10th fret needs a bit of love. Needs fretalizing. You can actually hear the difference. When you start getting the fret down with the sandpaper, you can hear the difference. That works a fucking treat. It's used a tiny bit of sandpaper. They've sent me enough to do 9 million guitars. I mean, that and all that is about 20 quid. That's a really good deal. So I've learned something today. I'm a bit of a changed man. I'm surprised. I am surprised. That one there, 2 bits of sandpaper and a fretalizer jobber, fucking worked wonders. This guitar, those frets are pretty good now. Double check your neck. Double check that you're straight all the time. If you're not straight, you're lying to yourself. All right, a lot of people won't have a go at this, but it's pretty non-destructive, isn't it? It's not, you haven't got to have big balls and you're not doing a full fret job. I always say to everyone, the first port of call is your 2 Allen keys. There's a reason they come with guitars, because they make the world of difference setting up your guitar. 2 Allen keys. No one should be afraid of 2 Allen keys. You can always have a little go. You've only got to turn it that much. Once a day if you want, if you want to fucking go and milk your own prostate, just use an Allen key. You can transform your guitar. After that, if you're gonna start doing your own frets, I can recommend that. And I didn't think I would. I spat then, sorry. So I'm happy with that. Let's put that away, because fucking I'm falling asleep. Let's move on to the second bit of the system, which is, this is the bit I think is the coolest part actually. So this is the fret polishing system. This is a special holder, 3D printed holder. Comes with a rubber band. Yeah, 8,000, 4,000, super high grit gear. This has got a little notch in it, which is designed to sit and crown your fret. Pretty cool, that's like the defining feature. So it basically goes on there with your rubber band. I feel like I'm on QVC. I'm not going to do a lot of these product things because it's boring, isn't it? But that there, oh wow. Incidentally, it does come with a fretboard protector so you don't scuff it like I just did there. Right, I'm going to do all these frets now. I'm going to whiz through it because you will literally fall asleep. It starts with 1500. I'm going to go 15, 2, 4, 4 and 8. I'm going to go all the way up and down the fretboard. See you in a second. So we're back in the room. I've polished up to 8,000. I'll get you a picture. Spanking. I'm a changed man today. I've just delivered my first ever YouTube advert, and I apologise for that because it is an advert really, isn't it? But then YouTube is a fucking giant advertising machine. My only gripe with these, and it's very minor, is the fact that these pads are a little bit wide, and I had to cut some little strips off the sides of them to make them go around the do for what's it a bit better. I use that much of each pad, so that system there for 35 quid, you could easily polish at least 10 guitars. There's no mess, there's no liquid, and yeah, it's difficult to make it funny. These videos are normally funny, I know, but I'm fucking baffled. Everything has worked as it said it's supposed to. So the last little product, this little foam pad, comes with all different grits of sandpaper, 400, 1500, I hope I'm getting this right. And this is just for sorting out your fret ends. This guitar is pretty good. Oh, we've got some Peter Hitchens. We have got some hitches. Look at it, that almost fucking drew blood. So, we need a bit of love on the end of our frets. I hope Phil's not offended by me wanking things off with tights on my hands. I would have done it on my feet, Phil, but that's for me OnlyFans. I'm going to go with a bit of 4 and 8. From what I can tell, they just wrap it around the little pad. Now you can go right up to 7,000 with that. I'm not going to, that's, I'm far too lazy. Because it squishes, it does get in there in between the frets. I would still advocate a little fret end dressing file and just do that manually first to get rid of some burrs and then use that to polish up, because I think if you just use that I mean, it does work, but it would take a little while. It does take a little while. That's a little bit more accurate to just get in there and then by all means come through and finish with this. The good thing about this system is that you can do this at home. You can put your guitar neck on a couple of bean bags, on a pillow, don't really matter. Block of wood with a bit of cloth on top. You don't need a fancy stand. We're looking at low-cost guitars and what needs to be done to make them play way above their station. Well, we've identified a low-cost set of tools that anyone can buy and make their guitar play above its station. So if you want to make a little investment to make your guitar play better yourself, it's a great little system. So as always, out comes the Monty's Minge Fudge. It's not really called Minge Fudge. Everyone knows it's Quim butter. So you've got to slap it on, make it look like you've gone up the wrong hole. Right, my nut looks like it's been rimming, so I'm going to come back in 10 minutes. We'll buff that off, we'll get some new strings on, and we'll just quickly set the guitar up, and then we'll see what she sounds like, because I haven't plugged this thing in yet. Fingers crossed, electronically it works all right, because I don't have to take it apart twice. The tuners do look particularly nasty, but they worked nicely. I've got high hopes for this guitar. See you in a minute. Right, I've buffed off all the vag butter. It's all looking rather nice and shiny, actually. Super light guitar. Let's get it strung up, put back together, and then we'll see what she sounds like. I'm actually a little bit interested because it's a bit of a weird pickup, isn't it? She's all set up. Probably could have got the frets a bit shinier if I'd gone with the auto soul and the Dremel and gone to town on it, but this guitar's actually set up quite nicely. I've got a 1.5mm action on the high E. I've got a 1.9 on the low E. You could go lower. Depends on how much distortion and shit you put through your amplifier. This bridge I had apprehensions about, but it's intonated not bad. You could only get it so close, so we're half a cent out on a couple of strings, but nothing major, nothing anyone's gonna notice. Nut is cut very nicely. Tuners are really good, actually. Nothing wrong. So far, I've got no complaints. If I need to downstairs, I'll adjust the height of the pickups just to balance the balance. It's like a pair of tits. To balance her up. Let's go plug her in because this is getting on, isn't it? I'll see you downstairs in Fritzels. I'll let you into a little secret. This is the next morning. I had to shoot home yesterday because it was Sunday. I didn't have all day. I've got to come up with a conclusion for this guitar. And we have got disappointment. We've got major disappointment. I wasn't that keen on it. It's a bit of a toy. It feels like a bit of a toy. From Epiphone, this feels like not good enough for an Epiphone. When people say, oh, an Epiphone is as good as a Gibson. Well, the good Epiphones can be. This can't ever be. It's not got those appointments. We've managed to rescue the frets. That was fine. And to be fair, they weren't that bad to start with. So I would have put this guitar potentially A tier. Potentially. Because it was fine. When it arrived here, it was all right. It wasn't bad. We had a few high frets. But we managed to sort them out with Fretilizer. Thank you very much. It's a good little system. So we found a low-cost system for you to work on your own low-cost guitars. So it's kind of a win. I don't feel too guilty for that. I rarely feel guilty anyway. I'm an asshole. Here's where it fell off the edge of a cliff. I've never experienced a Gibson headstock break. The most talked about, vastly talked about subject on the internet regarding a Gibson. This guitar has been treated like a queen. Everything I've done with it, it's been on camera. Which sounds ruder than it is. Come in this morning and I've got a headstock break. A big split. I have got no idea why or how. So first things first, there's no auction for this guitar this week. I can't sell it. It's fucked. It's cost me 80 quid, second hand, rescued from a bedroom in Plymouth. I don't think there's 80 quid's worth of parts on this thing. My lad quite likes it, so I might just give it to him to practice. We got it playing nicely, but the headstock broke, and I don't know why. It's not been dropped, it's not been dinged. It's really weird. I've got no idea why. So all in all, not a bad beginner instrument, but it does reiterate the point every week, people. If you're going to buy a low cost, especially a low cost instrument, go to a shop, Anderton's, Manson's, or whatever guitar shops near you. The smaller the better. Go to a shop with your youngster and your wad of cash, sit down and pick a guitar out that they like and they play and it feels nice and it's set up nice. Don't spend, I think these were almost 200, maybe 200 quid. Don't spend 200 quid online when you can go and pick something out in person. That's the best advice ever, especially at this price point. Anyway, thanks for sitting through this video. This was a bit of a serious video. Sorry. Make sure you fucking subscribe anyway. It's important. Makes me feel a little bit better overnight. Love you all. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.